It was the worst cash flow quarter that the company's seen in its history, but the stock was up 12% because Elon started talking about what he sees in the future and the idea of bringing out cheaper cars to go through these things. Where do you stand?
What's wrong with you people?
Is this the best thing you have to do today?
No, I had a fine day. I don't want to have anything to do with you things.
We don't either.
Stop running your mouth at me and I won't react to you.
Got it.
I want nothing more than to rip off your head and spit down your throats.
Got it. Yeah, we're sorry.
You cyclists screw up all the streets.
Okay.
Like, you're unbearable. You run around in your spandex and your baggy little helmets, and then you run your mouth at me as I try to drive to work. You're such bitches.
Sorry about that.
I'm sorry Elon Musk said things that hurt your feelings.
No, we were just trying to poke fun at the gas pedal issue.
Yeah, you're trying to be a bitch.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, We were honestly, it was just the recent the gas pedal headlines. The recall.
People when you're on your bike as they drive by.
Well, we get heckled a lot by people in cars, and we're sorry. We're just being stupid kids. Yeah. Honestly.
Someday you're gonna say the wrong thing to the wrong dude.
Understood.
Might have been that dude.
Understood. Yeah. Sorry about that. Have a good day.
Hi friends, welcome back. So that was a Tesla Cybertruck owner arguing and threatening a couple kids on bicycles, and essentially this person probably paid over $100K for his Cybertruck and is upset that the pedal doesn't work properly and has been recalled. We covered that on the channel already, and unfortunately these kind of reactions you see a lot on YouTube as well. I want to read a comment for you guys from our loving fans here on the channel. So this is coming from Tau818, and I want you to listen to this because it actually represents sort of the new person or young person in the market. This person says, glad I didn't take advice of Tesla Q bears like you. Tesla is not overvalued. That's according to this person. And then they has to say, which is interesting, it says, it is, speaking of overvalued, it is if you believe it's a car company, right? So this person doesn't think Tesla's a car company. And also too, it says 2 years from now, all the folks that avoided Tesla are going to be crying in their soup. Go listen to what Ron Barron recently said about Tesla. He has made billions on the stock. So it's interesting that how this one particular comment represents new people or young people in the market. And there's a couple of things wrong with this. So one is he's going to make the case that Tesla's not a car company, okay? So I would make the case it is a car company because they get most of their revenue and most of their money from selling cars, right? I think it's like over 95% or something of that nature. If that's where your money comes from, you're a car company. There are a lot of companies out in the world actually that do multiple things. Just for example, take Honda. They actually build more than just cars over at Honda, but I would say it's a car company, but they sell motorcycles and they actually have developed robots in the past, etc. But the primary money is going to come from cars, right? And I'm just giving one example, but there's a lot of companies out there that do multiple things. But again, if your primary money is coming from cars, you're a car company. Regarding the Ron Barron thing, I actually want to show you a couple clips from Ron Barron. We'll do that in a moment here. But one thing I think is important to mention is that it says he has made billions on the stock. That's completely true. But Ron got in early. If you get in late, you cannot expect the same returns as Ron. This is a key point and a point to understand, because if you're new to the market and you watch all the pumpers on YouTube, they basically say, hey, this happened before and it's going to happen again, right? And that's essentially just completely false. Why is it false, guys? Well, because when you first start a car company and you build one car, and then next year you build two cars, you double your production. You're doing awesome. You're going to double everything, right? And then you go from 2 cars, and the next year you build 4 cars. Again, you double, right? So the math early on, you can have high, very high actually, growth rates early on. As you get later as a mature company, so now Tesla's building, say, around 2 million cars, like 1.8, I think, something like that. To go from, say, 2 million cars to 4 million cars is very, very different than going from 2 cars to 4 cars in the past. So if you get in early, yes, you can make a bunch of money. But if you get in late, you're sort of where the situation of this Tau818 person is, expecting to get the same kind of returns, but frankly, you're late. It is what it is, but that's something that happens to a lot of people. Here's more of the comment. The person says, you come off as a Tesla Q bear. I'm also amazed at the stupidity in the comments section of your channel. These people all lose money in the market. So I guess if you watch my channel, this person is saying that you're dumb and you all lose money. So you can comment on that, what you think about that, and you can let them know. Regarding the Tesla is more than a car company thing. So actually, this is an interesting point. There's a fascinating article. This is back on December 5th, 2023. And this is something that I guess Tesla was promoting, that you could power your house with a Cybertruck. It says here, Tesla Cybertruck can power a home. So what the heck is that? Well, it turns out this guy, his name was Joe, he looked into it recently and wanted to get an estimate, if I got like these power share things, how much would it cost? He went through some sort of company called Treehouse, and they came back with an estimate of $64,000, $275 to install whatever you need. But I think that's like 2 of these things, because maybe if you just want one, it's only $30,000 or something. But either way, I don't want to spend this much. He says here, cost for installation electrical upgrades of $33,837 without the 2 power walls, or $64,275 with the 2 power walls. So I guess it depends if you want the power wall things or not. Either way, for me, if you want to make the argument that Tesla's not a car company and doing other things, maybe. But it costs a lot of money. So also, too, I want you to take a look at what Ron Barron had to say about this stuff.
But I think all the cars are going to be electric, and I think this hybrid is just a sort of a holding off action so the automobile companies don't have to lose money on the electric cars. But the electric cars, I think, is going to be all the cars 10, 15 years from now. And I think hybrids, I know you love hybrids, that's not going to last either. They're too expensive, and they're not effective enough, and they're not going to be part of the mix either. So it's going to be all electric.
So Ron's basic argument is that everyone's going to be electric cars sometime in the future, maybe 10 years, maybe 15, who knows? And essentially, I want to pick apart this logic because I get that. I actually don't necessarily disagree. Maybe we all go electric. It's certainly possible. But it doesn't mean we're all buying a Tesla, right? So even if we all go electric, perhaps the percentages stay the same. Perhaps Toyota goes electric too, maybe 10, 15 years in the future, and then they still dominate the car market. Perhaps Hyundai does very well, perhaps Volkswagen, etc. So again, this whole thesis that many of the people try to tell you is that we're all going electric in the future. Tesla makes electric cars now. Therefore, Tesla will have a massive market share. I push back on that. I don't necessarily think so. I think there are other cars that exist in the world, as I showed in a video recently at the Beijing Auto Show. But it's not just Beijing, guys, or not just China. You can look at cars in Europe. You can look at cars in Germany, for example. Perhaps, who knows, maybe the Italians come out with something cool. You also have the Koreans. You also have the Japanese. And you have other competitors in the USA. So I think there's going to be a lot of competition going forward. And again, I don't think Tesla's going to have 100% market share. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
And so what I think is going to happen is that the reason the stock is down is not because of the quarter. The reason the stock is down...
Well, the stock's up because of the stuff that he said.
Well, the stock's down so much.
Well, it's down 35% year to date. It's down 1%, or it's up 1% over the course of the last year.
Yeah, it's not so exciting to be up 1% in a year when everything is, the market is so strong. I don't worry about short term, but I do look around all the time and see everyone getting rich, and I'm not poor, but I haven't made a lot of progress in the last 3 years.
So one thing I want to point out what's good with what Ron said is that, guys, he manages a fund. He's got, billions of dollars under his management, plus himself, his own net worth is worth quite a bit as well. And he's very honest about it. He's like, you know what? My Tesla stock hasn't been doing so good. I've been looking at other stocks in the market, not so great. And, he can have a sense of humor about this because he's diversified. And I think what happens to a lot of people who are very, very sensitive about this Tesla stock stuff is they probably put 80%, maybe 100% of all of their money into one company. And they're basically getting killed out there. And according to Ron, you guys just saw the clip. He's saying, hey, my Tesla investment's not doing great the last, couple of years, but other stuff, seems to be passing that. However, if you have money, put in different baskets, essentially, you're doing all right. So yes, please do listen to Ron in that regard. Don't put all your money in one basket, and you can kind of tell. And I think he says somewhere that maybe his Tesla investment's like at $3 billion, something like that. And if his total, fund is $45 billion, he's probably got roughly, 8-9%, something like that, Tesla. So just wanted to play that for you.
But so what I think about the reason stock is down is because people were concerned that he was going to abandon the idea of having a low-cost car and go all into robo-taxis. That's the reason stock is down. And there was a report in Reuters said he's canceling this new factory that's going to make low-cost cars $25,000 cars, competition from China. So there's only one company in China that's profitable, by the way. That's BYD, Warren's company.
So if you listen to what Ron said, we're talking about the low-cost car stuff. He's saying, Tesla investors might be unhappy and upset about that. Here's the issue, though. It goes back to the first assumption that whatever Tesla puts out, people are going to buy it up in droves, and Tesla's going to have like all the market share. And I'll make the case, even if Tesla does put out a low-cost car, and who knows if they are or they're not, it doesn't guarantee it's going to sell like hotcakes. There's a couple other issues as well, is that other companies can go even cheaper than Tesla, so you may lose in that regard, and that's going to eat at your margins, meaning that you won't be so profitable. So I question whether or not Tesla, even if they do come out, can sell a whole bunch of these, and whether or not they'd make enough money to justify it. I wanted to also show you guys this as well. I've been having it on the screen, but I just want to run over it. This is here, former Tesla senior vice president Drew Bagliano is selling 181 million worth of stock, and that's according to the SEC filing. And Elon Musk was quoted saying, if somebody doesn't believe Tesla stock is going to solve autonomy, I think they should not be an investor in the company. Drew, my understanding, he's an engineer. He was in the power stuff like that. He's leaving the company. It was rumored that he was actually going to become the new CEO if Elon Musk were to step down. This was one of the persons that they were considering. And the thing is, if he's gone and he's selling all his stock, I mean, what do you think? And I think that's important to consider, because this person would know more than anyone. And this is something that I always say, guys, don't follow necessarily what people say. Look at what people do. I can see Drew, one of the insiders, one of the top execs, is selling a whole bunch of stock. So I'll let you guys make up what you think about that. And also, too, this brings up to another really important point regarding, robotaxis, the future of the stuff like that, because Ron mentioned that also. This just came out today, actually. U.S. probes Tesla recall of 2 million vehicles over Autopilot. Another one here, it says, federal regulator finds Tesla Autopilot has critical safety gap linked to hundreds of collisions. I want to go through the details of this thing. I'll share my thoughts, and I want you guys to share some thoughts as well. So it says here, again, this is just come out today. Federal authorities say critical safety gap in Tesla's Autopilot system contributed to 467 collisions, 13 resulting in fatalities. And this is a guess from the National Highway of Traffic Safety Administration, and they looked at 956 crashes. So this is the quotes here. Tesla's Autopilot design has, quote, led to foreseeable misuse and avoidable crashes. The system did not, quote, sufficiently ensure a driver's attention and appropriate use. Also says here, they have a weak driver engagement system, and the Autopilot stays switched on even when the driver isn't paying attention to the road or driving tasks. The driver engagement system includes various prompts, including nags, chimes, that tell drivers to pay attention and keep their hands on the wheel, as well as in-cabin cameras that detect when a driver is not looking at the road. And then it said here that I guess they're doing a new probe as well. The agency said is opening a new probe into the effectiveness of the software update Tesla previously issued as part of the recall in December. I mentioned this thing because basically, here's a gist from my understanding of it, is Tesla's got this, autopilot thing or whatever. And unfortunately, people get hurt in accidents because I think the driver thinks that it's more effective than what it actually is. And so they turn it on and then just, play with their phone or whatever. And the question is going to be, and this is just a fundamental question, is this, accident, is it driver error or is it Tesla error? And also too, let's say it's both, okay? Let's just say it's both driver error and Tesla, or let's say it's neither, who knows? But the end result though is that we're having accidents, in this situation. And should we let this thing on the road? I mean, because ultimately you gotta, whoever is to blame, if there's more accidents because of said thing, it's not so great. And this is something that I mentioned several times on the channel. Tesla, their driving level is like level 2, autonomy level, and then other companies are level 4. And it's strange though when we're already talking about robotaxi and stuff like that, and we have to deal with already accidents and fatalities, unfortunately, which I don't make any jokes about. It's a serious issue, and I just question, is this thing ready? And also question, will this thing ever work? A couple questions there. So I know we talked about a lot of different issues in this particular video, but I think they're all important to talk about. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch you next video.